Yeah, about step 3. Yeah, so step 3 is the person's home must comply with the minimum safety standards that are set out in the policy below, and in the policy and procedure, and that they have been assessed, and that any additions or alterations advised by you must actually be completed before they can work from home. And if they haven't got them done by the second time you come out to assess it, then their application will be denied, because we don't want your time wasted having to keep coming out here. You know, they do this and then they do this and then they do this. You're going to give them a complete list, make sure they understand what they've got to do, and then they'll either do it or they don't.
Right.
So step 4, the approval of the HR manager must be given prior to working from home. So they'll collate all these documents, so the approval of the line manager, the evacuation plan, your signed off report saying that it's, after the first or second visit, saying it's all compliant, and then they'll give the final approval once they've seen all that.
Yep.
So the home safety assessment itself is going to be conducted by you, and you have to be trained, which is why we're here. By somebody who's an approved training organisation, and that's why they brought me in to do the training. When conducting the safety assessment, you'll have regard to the general maintenance of the premises. So like you said, those broken tiles, you know, the status of stairs, those kind of thing, and the potential hazards both inside and outside the home. Again, when do they start working from home?
What is the workplace?
Yes. So say they've done the morning in the office and they come home to work in the afternoon, they haven't actually stopped working yet unless they've stopped off at the shops on the way. So that's why we have to look inside and out. So that's including but not limited to the items specified on the checklist. So you're going to be taking a broader view, but the things on the checklist you're going to make sure you've thought about in particular, because they're what have been identified as the most common risks. So the minimum requirements include stairs must have a handrail. Drops higher than at 1 metre must be protected by a metre high guardrail or wall. So that one is actually a building regulation. But if it's an older property, they may never have actually retrospectively fitted that. It must be fitted with a working smoke alarm. They must have an electrical safety switch fitted to the home wiring. Again, older properties may not have that. Gang plugs must have safety brake switches. So, you know, one of those buttons on the end that effectively is a trip switch. Only 1 plug per socket. And wiring and cables must be free of damage and adequately stowed to avoid tangling, damage and tripping hazards. And the home must have a fire plan, a fire blanket or a multi-purpose fire extinguisher, and that, if it's a fire extinguisher, well, that's just got to be regularly maintained and replaced as needed, especially with like the powder fire extinguishers. They settle, so they need to be shaken, otherwise they won't work when you need it. So have you got any thoughts about those minimum requirements?
Not really, no. So far that's okay. We will get some odd electrical things for sure around, and some people may have to spend some money to bring their house up to standard suitable for the office.
Yeah, yeah. Do you think there's anything we've missed? Because this is the first time we put in place the policy and procedures, so do you think there's anything that we might have missed?
Possibly we could set up in some properties a set of procedures that are applicable to the use of that office facility at home. So some areas will not be available to a person if they intend to start work at home.
Okay.
So a set of procedures that outline this is where you go, this is what you do, this is how you do it.
That's a good idea, yeah. And I think, you know, that sort of made me think as well that, you know, where is their phone?
True.
Where will that, because we don't want them suddenly having to run from the desk to pick up the phone because they haven't thought to take it into the office with them. So that kind of procedure might be a good addition to this. So yeah, that would be a good point to take back to the office. Great job. So we'll keep that checklist to hand and keep that in mind while we look at a couple of scenarios. So there's 3 lots of pictures here, and I'd like you just to have a little look at them and take a moment or two and mark up what you think are some of the hazards that would need to be addressed.